Black and Blue, where the rivalries run deep and every Sunday is a battle. I'm your man, Wil McCann, and along with my partner, Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest, bringing you real talk and weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the Black and Blue division. So whether you rep green and gold, Honolulu Blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace up, strap in, and let's talk Black and Blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
What's up, friends and kinfolk? We appreciate you joining us and supporting the Black and Blue podcast. Tell all your football friends how much fun we have over here. Just a quick reminder, Wil and I are real estate agents in the state of Michigan. If you or someone you know is talking about buying, selling, or investing in the next 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months, hit us up and we'll help you score a touchdown in real estate. Wil McCann, let's get into part two of our draft review.
Part two, man. Today we're going to hit picks 17 through 32. So let's get started, man. Let's get at it. Starting at number 17, the Detroit Lions select Blake Miller, tackle out of Clemson. We talked about him in our show last week.
Yeah, again, when we talked about the Lions and what their picks were, my thoughts were the Lions needed offensive, and they found a guy that was a 4-year starter. So he should be able to come in and start right away for them, or maybe spell some of the other players a good amount of time. But yeah, the Lions need offensive line bodies, so they need a bunch of them.
Yes, and closest to the football, you never hurt yourself when you draft good offensive linemen. Um, he probably was the best one remaining on the board. There were some other offensive linemen taken later. A lot of people thought the guy taken by Carolina at 19, Monroe Freeling, might be a little better athlete. I think the Lions I think Blake Miller is a Dan Campbell kind of player. And I think he
Yes.
probably fit what they want to do culture wise a little more than some of the other guys in the draft. And then at
Yeah.
number 18, another one we talked about last week, Caleb Banks, defensive tackle from Florida, going to the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think about that one?
Vikings really, really swung on this one, I feel
Yeah,
like.
I agree too. I agree.
He's an electric player, but he's had a foot injury,
Two,
multiple times.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you're hoping that this guy gets into your training room, you can keep him healthy, and that's what you're banking on. But at 18, I feel like if you needed a defensive tackle or someone for the edge, you could have got someone that may have been higher risk, not higher risk, may have had a
less of a
lower,
risk. Le-
less of a risk.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
A
yeah,
little less talented, but
right.
less risk. And you knew that player was going to be on the field.
Yes,
I don't know how much you're going to get from Caleb Banks at this point.
I agree. I'm a little concerned about that. I'm a little concerned about taking swings in the first round too, because you need those guys for your salary cap. You need those guys to stick. So I think you're better off drafting a guy with a higher floor, but maybe a lower ceiling in the
Yep.
first round, and you would take a gamble on a guy like Banks, in a second, third round pick. But like you said, it is a swing, right? If they connect, he can be a difference making player. Moving on to number 19 pick, a guy I mentioned, Monroe Freeling, a tackle out of Georgia. Goes to the Carolina Panthers. Tell me what you know and think about Freeling.
I think for Carolina, this is a good move for them. They have a couple of veterans that are probably on their last leg. One of them, I think, is Rasheed Walker. They added, he's on a 1-year deal. Um, is it Tyler Motton?
Mutton.
He's 31. He only has 2 years left on his deal too. So it's it's a good move for Carolina to start to work this talented young man to their offensive line. He plays very good. His passer level, from what I've seen, he could be a long-term player in the NFL, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. He is humongous also. He's 6'7", 315. If you think of his build, he's built a lot like Taylor Decker, whose height and weight is similar. I think he can become a Taylor Decker type player. I think the big concern with him, he's another one of those guys. He was a 1 year starter at Georgia. And, people ask the question, if he's that big, that athletic, why did he only get on the field 1 year? And again, to me, I look at the school, and I think University of Georgia, he probably had some dudes in front of him that kept him on the bench. So it'll be a concern. I won't say it'll be a concern. It'll be interesting to see how he develops. But I agree with you 100%. Big, tall, lengthy, physical dude like that on your line. I think is excellent working him in. I think he may end up replacing one of the starters who may become the swing tackle for them. But I think he will quickly get into the rotation for Carolina.
Right, right.
And with the number 20 pick, the Philadelphia Eagles, this was another trade. I think this is Green Bay trading one of their picks that they got from Dallas. This was crazy. Yeah. They traded a pick they got from Dallas to Philadelphia. And Philadelphia uses Dallas's pick. I can see Philadelphia giving Dallas the middle finger as they take this pick. Yeah. And they select Makai Lemon, wide receiver from USC. Tell me what you think about Makai Lemon and how you think he will impact the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, if the Eagles move on from AJ Brown, which it looks like they will because they selected Lemon.
That was the first thing people said.
Yeah, he's that slot receiver. He's gonna get the quick slants and all those type of inside routes. Tough as nails type of guy. So like I said, if AJ Brown's out, they just plug and play. So I think Philly is I, and like you said with the pick coming from Dallas, they were just like, yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I agree. It leads you to believe there's something in the works with AJ Brown. Um, it's interesting that they haven't made the move already with AJ, as much talk as there is out there, or that they haven't put it to bed and say we are not looking to move AJ. Which the fact that they won't say that definitely leads you to believe they're looking to move on from AJ. He's kind of got a similar build in that he's, one of those thick, bitey receivers. He's not as tall as Brown is. So it will be interesting. They're going to end up with a couple of receivers with him and Devontae Smith who are less than 200 pounds. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how he works into their offense.
yeah, yeah. The one thing I want to add about AJ Brown is he was collateral damage for the situation that's going on in New England. You got you got to
Oh,
let
yeah, you
you got
think
to
so,
let that
huh?
calm down before you
Yeah.
complete the there's a little insider information, pun intended.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah, you were definitely wrong for that one.
Uh,
Yeah, that whole situation is crazy, man. I don't know how. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I don't know how to approach that one anymore. But
it's
yeah, yeah, they supposedly had a deal in the works for months, but I can understand that. You don't want to have a press conference and have to have questions that aren't related to Makai Lemon.
or AJ Brown. That's what I'm saying. Collateral damage. The I
So
don't know.
moving on.
Yeah,
At
I
the
was gonna
number,
say something about you have something similar happen in the NBA, but it was more of a player reporter type issue, so whatever.
yeah, yeah,
During the
yeah.
bubble. During the
Uh,
bubble.
right, right. I got it now. I got it. It took me a minute. Took me a minute, but I'm there. Yeah, yeah. It's a different. It hits totally different when it's a player. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's at the number 21 pick. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Max Iheanachor from offensive tackle from Ohio State. I'm sorry, from Arizona State. So you can see that there was a run on offensive tackles that happened here. There's like going back, there's like four of them taken in the next seven picks. So what do you know about Max?
I think he ran the fastest time for an O lineman at the combine, but I don't know how that correlates to you being a good offensive tackle.
Yeah, I think it shows what kind of athlete he is, man. These big 6'6", 320-pound dudes that can dunk, man. It's, it's just
Yeah,
incredible, bro.
yeah. I need my tackle to be effective within 2 to 3 yards. So, a 4.940 is not doing it for me. But to be serious, Pittsburgh, the Steelers, they need a lot of help. And we always talk about having great athletes
Yes, yes,
at the closest to the ball.
yeah,
Yeah, you did what you need to do as a Steelers. You went out and you got a great athlete. Um, so hopefully you get him in there and you can get him trained up and he becomes a Pro Bowler for you and a stalwart and he gives you 8 to 10 years of productivity. So we'll have to see. But when we're getting into the 20s, it's a little sticky as far as like what you're getting, who's showing up for you and all that type of
yeah.
thing.
I agree. I was going to say the reason Max is important, man, is because they drafted Broderick Martin 3 years ago, and they decided not to pick up his fifth-year option. And that doesn't always mean that they're ready to feed that guy to the cap, but it lets you know that they don't, if they considered him a long-term player, they would have given him the fifth-year option and then tried to negotiate a long-term deal to get the cap number down. But the fact they didn't give Broderick the fifth-year option says that I think that they are going to expect a lot out of this young man in this draft because they drafted him before they made the decision not to give Martin his option. All right, so moving on, I agree with you, man. It's when you hear NFL executives talk, there are probably about 15 to 17, maybe 15 to 20 guys who actually get a first round grade. Now, there are 32 teams, so that means a lot of teams drafting in the back end are drafting guys in the first round who got a second round grade coming out. So, yeah, it's um, you'd better know. I won't say you better know. It is key for you to draft players who fit into your system and can be productive for you because they, again, drafting and developing is so important in a salary cap sport. So moving on to the 22nd pick, the San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers select Akheem Mesidor, another edge from the University of Miami, another edge who worked with Jason Taylor down there. Tell me
Hmm.
what you know about Mesidor.
I think for the Chargers, this makes sense. They lost their edge rusher, Owe.
Yep, Adafi
Yep.
Owe.
Yeah, so lost him in free agency. So he's gonna be in the mix. I think it's him. Who else they got over there? Khalil Mack and there's one other person that I can't remember his name, but you mentioned it. Worked with Jason Taylor and just really got some great hands as far as like being able to strike and get the offensive player off him, locate the ball, that type of thing. So It's a nice move for them because it was a position of need.
Yeah, Jason's doing a great job down there training edge players at the University of Miami. Uh, uh, Bosa is no longer with the Chargers, also. So yeah, they
Right.
just Owe and Bosa. So yeah, they definitely need another edge player, and I think Mesidor is going to come in there and definitely get on the field right away.
Yeah.
Right, you know,
Another one of those off field issues that Jason might need to have a sit down with his sister.
like Joy. So I'm gonna leave out. All right, moving on to the number 23 pick, the Dallas Cowboys. This was the trade that they made with Philly, and they take another edge player, Malachi Lawrence from Central Florida University, or the University of Central Florida. So tell me what you know about Lawrence.
Look, Cowboys are still trying to find that edge rusher.
One that
Hey,
they haven't had since when?
exactly. You looking for a high motor, uh, someone's got length, can play almost any position on the defensive line, off ball, on ball. You're looking for someone that can't put my finger on it, but
It
sounds
isn't
like
like they've had
somebody.
it. It isn't like they've had a guy like that recently.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see the development of Lawrence as an edge for them, but they definitely. One thing I will give the Cowboys credit for, I think the Cowboys do a great job drafting. Man, I think they really do. I don't think they negotiate very well, but I think they do a fine job drafting.
Okay.
Uh, he said, "All right," and
Okay.
move on with the number 24 pick, and this one is the Cleveland Browns that they get in the trade from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get wide receiver from Texas A&M, KC Concepcion. What do you know about KC?
So I think this young man has over 15 yards per catch. So if you're looking for a downfield threat, he might be the guy to go to. But do you have a quarterback in your room that can throw down the field?
Don't they have a Pro Bowl quarterback on there, in their quarterback room? I
Have a
thought
Pro
they
Bowl
did.
quarterback?
I thought they
There's
did.
so many there's so many questions with the Browns. Until we get to I don't think you know who your quarterback is until you get to the first game of the season.
Deshaun Watson, but like you said, we don't know.
Yeah, you really don't know. So,
You don't. I'm predicting it's going to be Watson, but you don't know,
and that's legit, right? Deshaun Watson might be the answer,
right?
but he hasn't played a full season in how
It's
long?
so
6 years?
long, and he's played one, and that one was ugly.
Yeah,
One in 6 years, and it was ugly.
yeah. So,
All the other ones, he's been hurt or he was suspended.
right,
So yeah,
exactly.
it's been a long time since we've seen that dude who was an elite NFL quarterback. All right, so moving on to the last 8 picks in the draft, we come to the back end. Starting with number 25, another gentleman we talked about last week, safety from the University of Oregon, Dillon Thieneman. And what do you know and think about Thieneman? Well, we talked about him last week. Tell me
We
real
talked
quick.
about him last week, and is a position of need for the Bears. They needed a safety. I think GM Ryan Poles had him on the board, so it was a perfect fit. I think they got who they need.
Um, I feel like Ryan Poles has become a much better GM since he hired Johnson as his coach. It seems like things have turned around there. I was questioning his ability with some of the players he drafted, but like I said, after hiring Ben Johnson as their coach, and then some of the decisions they made last offseason in free agency, and some of the free agents came in and started playing, it helped some of those draft picks that polls had made that have been underperforming start to play a little better. So his draft picks have definitely picked it up since he now has a coach who knows how to develop talent. So he's been looking a lot better as GM. And I think Thieneman is going to be an impact player for them also. So it'll be fun to watch that. Then the number 26 pick, the Houston Texans select Georgia Tech guard Keelan Rutledge. What do you think and know about that one?
So for the Buffalo Bills, this is a necessary evil.
No, no, no. Buffalo traded this pick to Houston. Houston took this pick.
Houston? No,
Yeah,
it's a Buffalo pig, right?
26.
Yeah. Oh no, it's the Texans.
Yeah, Buffalo
Okay.
traded this pick to Houston. Oh, I got it backwards on the graphic. Don't. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
catch that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the other
So
way.
yeah. So for the Texans, it's the same as for the Bills. What I was gonna say is that they need that enforcer,
Yeah,
right? This guy is gonna play beyond the whistle.
yeah.
And that's what you need on the offensive
That's
line
what you
because
need in God.
on
I love that.
your defense was out there killing people, like
Yes,
murdering
yes.
people, right? But offensively, you were suspect, and your quarterback could not hold on to the ball because he was worried about getting hit. So
Two words.
you,
Two words.
yep. So this guy is pro ready. He's ready to go in. He's going to be a solid blocker. He's got good feet. So this is what they need. They definitely need an enforcer, and he'll give it to you.
We talk about again, and you said it just a minute ago about your best players being the guys closest to the ball. I
Yep.
like guards starting as rookies more than tackles because I think it's a lot easier for them to adjust to the game than it is for tackles. Dealing with speed edge players, because a lot of times inside with interior players, centers and guards, it's just knock the crap out of the guy across from you, right?
Hmm.
And Rutledge is the kind of guy who can do that. And with the number 27 pick, here's another one I messed up the graphic on. This was San Francisco trading this pick to Miami, and Miami selecting cornerback Chris Johnson from San Diego State.
Yeah, he seems like a Miami guy. I mean, as far as defensively goes and quarterback, um, I think he had 4 interceptions last year. He ran two back for a TD. You need some explosive defensive play in Miami. So if this guy gets on the field, look forward to that, and that'll help out Malik Willis on the offensive side. So I think it's a solid pick for them.
Yeah, I like that Jeff Hafley with his first pick picks a defensive player, somebody he
Yeah.
thinks can get on the field and play the game the way he wants it played. So yeah, I like that pick for Miami. At number 28, the New England, the aforementioned New England Patriots select Caleb Lomu,
Uh,
an offensive tackle from Utah. And this was a trade from the Houston Texans. Uh, Tell me what you think about. And actually, this originally was another Buffalo Bills pick originally.
yeah. The the Patriots needed to do something because I think in the Super Bowl you saw how the struggles that they had, especially with Will Campbell on the line, and realizing you got older players on that line too. So this is a nice move for them, offensive tackle. Uh, he's gonna have some experience on the left side, give him an opportunity to play on the right side. It's gonna shore up your offensive line, but you saw the troubles that they were having in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, their left tackle, Will Campbell, who was a first round pick last year, had struggled against speed rushers all year to the point where a lot of people who cover the team think he's probably better off at guard. So it'll be interesting to see if they move Will Campbell to left guard and play Lomo at left tackle, or if they put Lomo on the right side. You want your five best linemen out there. Uh,
Hmm.
so it'll be interesting to see. I think he'll get on the field quickly, either at either tackle spot. And if he's playing left tackle, I don't think Johnson will move to right tackle. I think he'd probably kick in and play left guard. At number 29, the Kansas City Chiefs, in a trade, a pick that they received from the Rams in a trade, they select Peter Woods, a defensive tackle from Clemson. Tell me what you know and think about Peter Woods.
Apparently, Peter Woods is going to be the heir apparent to Chris Jones. So e- every year, I feel like every year we're we're doing the Aaron Rodgers thing with Chris Jones. We're waiting to see what's gonna happen with him. Um, but Chris Jones is like in his early 30s. He's played a lot of football, especially with the Chiefs and their championships. They're playing all those extra games. He's
Yeah,
probably played like two extra seasons in his career,
right. Yeah,
right? But this goes back to what we're talking about a little bit earlier with the Chiefs going defensive, right? And
hmm
just realizing that, hey, we can there are not enough weapons that we can give Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be out for a significant part of the season,
right. Yeah, no
right?
telling how long he's going to be out, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we can score 30 points, but if we're giving up 35 points, what are we doing? So,
Right.
yeah, so the young man definitely has he's athletic. Like you talk about having your best athletes closest to the ball. I think he had like a crazy broad jump or something ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the knock on him is that he does have some short arms, but hey, what are we talking about here? Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing? It's not like he's got to lay out and catch balls. What are we doing?
I will say this. I used to always wonder about that too. The only guy I can recall since I first started listening to Moving the Chains on NFL radio and hearing Pat Kerwin talk about guys with long arms, the only guy I've ever heard him say the guy's got short arms and I'm concerned about him is Micah Parsons. Everybody else who he said had short arms has underachieved based on their draft position. So it's always interesting and it depends on the position you play also. When you're a lineman, the reason it's important for linemen because the guy who gets his hands on the other guy first is generally going to win that battle. Right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's why it's a concern. You really have to be a just a tremendous athlete, a Michael Parsons type athlete who is all worldly. He's a running back level athlete at his size. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Woods will get in there in that defensive rotation, and if nothing else, take some snaps off of Chris Jones so that he is ready later in the season and into the postseason. And moving on at number 30, it's the third of three first round picks for the New York Jets. They move back into the first round, make a trade with the I almost called them the Denver Nuggets, the Denver Broncos, and they select Omar Cooper, wide receiver out of Indiana, guy catching passes from Fernando.
Guy catching pass from Fernando. So I mean, you can put that on the resume. But this guy,
That guy got
hey,
that Heisman because of me.
exactly. First overall draft pick because of me. But but hey, I feel like we're talking about the potential and sneaky good uh picks, high side, steals in the draft. this might be it right here. I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Jets, but
Isn't what's your man's name? Gino. Gino's going to be the
Gino
quarterback.
is is Gino starting? I don't know, man. Woo. Gino and Aaron Glenn. Um,
Oh,
but Frank, I mean, well, Frank Wright, yeah, he might be able to get some stuff done with Gino.
get something
But
out of him.
yeah, but for Cooper, middle of the field, brilliance, yards after the catch, um, just a, I mean, with him and Garrett Wilson, they got a nice little receiving core developing over there. And like I said,
Yes.
this guy has tremendous upside. For him to be the third receiver picked in the first round,
Hmm.
I I feel like they knew that they wanted this young man because he was going to fall out of the first round.
Right. They traded back up into the first round to get
They
him.
traded
Right.
back up in the first round to get him, so I think they're excited about him. Uh, and he just reminds me of a just a cat that's just going to go out there and get it done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I think he's a dog of a player. I think he's going to go out there and compete. And I think the happiest person on the Jets is probably Garrett Wilson. Like, man,
right.
we got somebody to take some heat off me off here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to watch his development with the Jets. We're coming toward the end here with the number 31 pick. And the Tennessee Titans pick they received from the New England Patriots. And that is Keldrick Falk, an edge from the University of Auburn. So tell me what you know about Falk.
So I'm going to start with Tennessee. Tennessee has a problem identifying edges. I know that they traded for Jeremiah Johnson, I think, and they've signed like Franklin Myers, but I hopefully the young man can stick and make it work. But there's just something going on in Tennessee where I just don't feel good about what they're putting, the product that they're putting out there, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Falk to me, he's 6'6", 275. He's more of a big end. He's going to be more of a, I see him more of a run stuffing end. He is more what I would call a defensive end rather than an edge. He is a true defensive end to me, and I think he can play defensive end for the Tennessee Titans. So it'd be interesting to see, interesting to watch his development. And then coming to the end, the last player selected in the first round by the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, a running back out of Notre Dame, Jadarian Price, was an interesting pick to me. Tell me what you think about the Seahawks taking Price.
Definitely an interesting pick. I feel, yeah, you got to fill some holes. You're Seattle, you got to fill some holes in the running back room, but I feel like this guy is going to be your kick returner, your punt returner. He's not going to see a lot of time in the backfield. You took the number two back from Notre Dame. There weren't other backs that started college games and that you could have pulled from. So yeah, they must have sat down with the young man and really liked what he had as far as like his personality and then to go along with his skill set. But I think he's going to be more of a punt returner, kick returner. He's not filling the spot of Kenneth Walker the third.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, give me a quick second here. When I saw this pick, it immediately screamed uh, drafting for need, knowing that they needed a back and going out and drafting a guy versus letting the draft come to them or going out and taking the best player available. I felt like they felt like, they lost their best back and Kenneth Walker, and they were going to draft another running back, and I feel like they, you know, kind of forced the pick here. I'm trying to remember the name of a running back who played for the St. Louis Rams. Um, Give me a second. He had a real name. He had a real weird name. Um, wasn't Tunch Ilkin. We talked about him with Trung Candidate. That's what is his name. I knew he was a guy with an odd name, but he reminds me a little bit of the Rams selecting Trung Candidate.
Okay.
Just we're taking a back because we need a back.
Yeah.
It feels like a forced pick to me. And like you said, they took a backup, a guy who was a backup at his school. Yeah, he
Right.
saw the field, but man, that's an interesting pick to me.
Yeah, and just kind of looking at it, oddly enough, he may have been the best back because it looks like the next running back that wasn't taken until the third round.
And
Is
I
that
can
right?
see,
Is that what I'm looking at?
which means Seattle probably could have got Price in the second round.
They probably could have got him in the second round because as I'm looking at it, the next back wasn't taken until the third round.
Yeah, that's
Keylan Black, he was 90th overall. Indiana.
yeah. So that one's an interesting pick to me.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you're right though. They went with position of need over best athlete. I probably would have went with best athlete and found myself a back somewhere else.
And yeah, come back second, third round. If I miss out on that one, I'll go out and get one of those veterans, or
Hey, Frank Gore's still out there.
call Arizona.
He'll play.
I was going to say he'll go out and take 5 snaps tomorrow, bro.
Exactly.
So yeah, as the draft concludes, we had fun here kicking it with the going through the first round here. It'll be interesting, like I said, and I know I've said it several times, watching these guys develop. Because as we watch the decisions that were made about these guys when they draft, and watching the decision about Seattle deciding to take a running back, how does that impact their team? The Rams moving up to take a quarterback, what does that mean for them? So it'll be interesting going forward to see the development of these players. The guy I'm probably most excited to watch is Caleb Downs. Because I see, not Caleb Downs, I got all the Ohio State guys mixed up. Sonny Styles
Okay.
is the guy. I'm interested to see the development of Sonny Styles. Can he develop into a Fred Warner type player? Or like I said, I see a Micah Parsons level athlete in that guy.
I agree with you on Sonny Styles. It's probably, yeah, I was just taking a look and looking back and see, but he's probably the one I'm most excited about seeing too, because if he can be a Fred Warner type, man,
Yeah. Yes,
that's
yes.
exciting. And we talked about this last week where some of these players, we're not going to know if they're legit for a good 3 years,
2 to 3
right?
years, right?
Yeah. So if you're outside the top 10, I'm not holding you to like rookie of the year expectations or defensive player of the year or anything like that. I gotta wait and see how that first 3 years look for you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You can't judge, these grades are given out immediately after the draft. Those grades don't mean anything. They won't mean
Right.
anything for 2 to 3 years. That's minimum three.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
I know Pat Riley said it in basketball, and I can't remember. I heard a football coach say it also, but it's like a guy is who he is after 3 years. You know who
Yep.
you have after 3 seasons.
Right. Right.
All right, my man, that's the show for this week. We'll be coming at you next week, Probably going to have something a little special for you next week. We'll talk about that a little more. Look out for our posts on social media about upcoming shows. But tell us, my man, go ahead and wrap us up.
All right, friends and kinfolk, we appreciate you hanging out with us. You know, Will and I love talking football, but when we're not breaking down the NFL draft, we're helping people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. If you have questions about your next move, don't fumble the ball. Contact us for a winning game plan in real estate. Fellas, share the pod with your buddies. Ladies, share it with your crew. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And don't be a knucklehead. Drop us that 5-star rating. Will McCann.
My man, hey, like Tellis said, we appreciate you all, man. We appreciate all the comments we get as well. I'm going to start to see if I can add a few more polls to our show so we can have some polls out there as well. Definitely interested in your comments on those. Well, folks, we thank you for listening again. We thank you for all your comments, and we will see you next time.
Yes, sir.